To develop power in your strikes, there's no better piece of equipment than a Pell. The Pell was originally a stake that the Roman army would stick into the ground when they came into camp. And then the soldiers would take turns sparring against the stake, hitting it with their swords, moving in and out as though it were a real opponent. Nowadays, a Pell doesn't have to be a stake in the ground. It could be a movable striking dummy, like the one I have here. Pells can take on all sorts of forms. Let's take a look at some different Pells to give you some ideas of how you can make one for yourself. For economy and durability, you just can't beat an old tire dummy. I got these old tires for free, rope is cheap, and I hung it on my training frame. This tire dummy will last way longer than you will. Be careful not to break your staff. Even using a big, thick old beater here, I still need to be careful not to crack it. I put the smaller tire at the top to mimic the head. Ha! Let's see what other kind of training equipment you could build. Here I took one small tire and strung it up on my training frame. And it gives me a different motion than the big heavy dummy. Get creative and see what you can put together for yourself. Here's another example of a Pell that I have set up in my yard. I had a limb come down off of a tree and it had a 90-degree bend in it that made a nice knee. So I saved it and tied it to another old dead tree I'd already been striking on. Together, they've made a durable Pell. I also have my PVC Wing Chun Mukjang wooden dummy type dummy over here, and you can also use this as a striking Pell. You don't need anything this fancy, but since I have it, it's good to learn how to manipulate with the tip and heel of the staff. Just about anything can be a Pell. See what you can put together for yourself. Sometimes I use my old climbing rope as a Pell. I strike at the knots, and the unpredictable nature of the rope makes them difficult to hit. Another kind of Pell is my bamboo makawara. Makawara is a Japanese term for striking post, so it means Pell. The nice thing about the bamboo is that it's cheap. I grow it here on my own property. It's hollow, so it gradually breaks up in splinters, and it kind of saves your staff and your wrists.
As always, you have homework. First, you need to devise some sort of Pell. As you could tell, Pells take many forms. You just need something to strike. Then, practice hitting it using the 9 basic strikes. While you're at it, practice hitting it using your figure eights as well. As you're working the Pell, remember that developing power takes time. Don't hit too hard at first because you could injure yourself or break your staff. In fact, striking the Pell can ruin just about any staff, so use a stout beater that you don't mind getting banged up.